Welcome to the Camppatton Family Compound Monday night fireside chat, and tonight's topic is food processing plants are going up in flames, exploding, all sorts of ugliness happening. And with me, I have. Oh, wait a minute! I knew I forgot to do something here. Hang on, I got to scroll back up here. They changed the positioning of it. There we go. Now we have our names up there.
Oh.
So this is Tammy from Rebel Canners, and she will have some good advice for us to how we can deal with it on a more personal level. And I will be picking her brain because I just scored some big meat today. Oh, anyways. All right, so let's see who else here. Well, the first one in was Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 79. And then let's see, scroll on down here. And then, John Powers is on Facebook. John is an old friend of mine from back working at the federal government. And let's see, Jay is in the house. And Lewis is in the house. And Emma is here. And Matt and Sarah are here. Pass McQuaddy's here. Homestead Where You Are is in the house. Southern Bless Homestead is here. And Cecilia's here. Yeah, scroll on down here. King Poopa is here, or at least he's listening. And let's see here, and getting down there, Rachel Knight from Hawaii is here. And Kathy, North Star Prepsteader is here. And so those of you who don't know, North Star Prepsteader is live for the hour before I come on. She has some great information there on her channel all the time. Great information there. Okay, so what are we talking about here with the food processing plants are burning? Yes, okay. There are... All right, there's always, every year there's one or two that has, or three that has an accident, fires happen and stuff. You get the, with all the wax paper, wax cardboard packaging and stuff, and they get a jam up in there and something keeps on rubbing on it, and you get fires now and then, but nothing like what has been going on recently.
100 and some in a year?
108 since November is what I was told. I've been able to confirm 78.
Yeah, I just recently got made aware of this. I mean, the one that caught my attention was the Azure Standard, that was the last one that happened. That really caught my attention. And it was a small plant. It wasn't their big plant. It was just their oils. So not their big plant. Don't panic. It's just the oil part of it. But it's going to definitely delay distribution for 6 to 9 months, they said.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, wasn't there one at Walmart? A great big Walmart? And I got digging into it.
I got a couple of those here. I got some stuff to go over on some of these. But it's, hey, Warren Lewis is here. So
and then,
how have you finding out about these?
Yeah, somebody posted a list of 46. And then the more I look into it, there's a way more than 46.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a coincidence. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's the thing is you a lot of these small plants are not making mainstream media.
No.
And how I started finding out a bunch of these was from one of the channels I follow, and I'm going to bring it up here. I don't care if I get dinged on this one. The Economic Ninja. He's been this is one from yesterday. No, not yesterday, day before yesterday, and he's been following these for. Well, since the meat software hack went on last year, and that was the first big one to hit that had problems. But he's been going through following a lot of the processing plant disasters, not counting the chicken, turkey, none of the poultry stuff.
I mean, that happens every year. That's not really anything new or anything to be
right.
Terribly scared about. That's not a panic there. There's no reason there.
So I'm going to. So this is he follows a lot of stuff, and he has several of the guys he brings up on his videos and stuff. Sometimes they're live, and tracking everything from shipping containers, what's going on with the rail yards and stuff like that. But yeah, the Economic Ninja. I'm going to click over here, just take it from this to his homepage. There's his homepage. I will throw the link in there for you guys. So you information, and I mean, you just yeah, talking about he talks about all the different things, and the cyber one here. Let me switch over to it. All right, this came out yesterday. This was one of his videos yesterday. This is what he's showing here is an article, and I'll bring that article up here in a second. But he's talking about the FBI is warning about stuff. So let's go over to that article here. Okay, so this is the article, and this is from Zero Hedge, and so the FBI Cyber Division published a notice warning of increased cyber attack threats on agricultural cooperatives. And so this comes at the time of curious of all these fires and explosions and major damage to food processing plants across America. So, and here it says, the agency warned a significant disruption of grain production could impact the entire food chain, since grain is not only consumed by humans, it's also used by animals, by animal feed, cows, pigs, sheep, goat, everything. And all right, and as well as and the grains is not just wheat, it's corn, it's rye, everything. Okay. And then Western Standard is also firing off stuff about it as well under the same thing here. And there's interesting is that Azure Standard's headquarters and warehouse facilities on Monday night, last Monday, and then a second explosion on Tuesday at Shear's food plant. Now that's the second one of Shear's food plants to go up. All right. And then it says Internet Exclusive pieced together a compilation of headlines showing separate fires all across, the country. All right, now, and then this guy here on Twitter posted this. You can't really read it here, but I blew it up here. And so you have here different ones. And then back on February 28th, you had Shear's Food in Oregon. So Azure was in Oregon. The Taylor Farms was in Salinas. Now, since the Taylor Farm on April 13th, I've counted 27 other ones since in the last 12 days.
Yeah.
And so, and this guy doesn't even have most of those on here. So there is there's a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, Jay, you're kind of right. If any of them are on the internet trying to where they can work from home to run the plant, that they need to disconnect that. But okay, so they need to go old school, run it from the site and separate it. And Kathy has a question here. Symptomatic takedown by arson. A lot of them have been suspicious. Others have been ruled as accidental electrical panel thing, electrical fires and stuff, systems overloading. Here's the thing. The Taylor fire in Salinas. Okay, that's the last one I have on this. I'm just going to take it back to this. The Taylor fire in Salinas. The plant wasn't even operating yet. They were just getting it ready. So, and they've been kind of closed mouth about where the fire started there. Makes me kind of wonder on that one specifically. And so, but they're saying that, oh, no problem. We will keep the Yuma plant open, which usually they close the Yuma down and open Salinas up because it's starting to get too hot in Yuma for stuff to grow down there. So we'll just ship everything down there and process it down there. To me, my head is spinning on that one. So they're going to load up trucks from the field, not refrigerated trucks, just the shipping trucks from the field, ship it over 500 miles, almost 600 miles down to Yuma to be processed. How much of that stuff is going to be crap, garbage by the time it gets down there? unless they drive only at night, and run it all only at night, only for the cooler time. But yeah,
you can't, because you're still leaving them in the trucks during the day. Whether they run only at night, it's still sitting in the trucks, however long it takes to get there.
Yeah. And Uncle Al's saying, see fires in Russia, see fires in China. Yeah. But there's one of the maps, and I thought I was going to have a map here. I don't see it here right now. That was showing 5 fires in Canada, and then 1 or 2 down in Mexico as well. So, yeah, that's going on. I'm just seeing over on the other side here. Okay, this is not saying which one this one is, but it shows fire from another one here, and it's 7 injured in an explosion as fire engulfs food plant. It was Eastern Oregon, so that must have been the Shears food plant. But yeah, there is a lot of things going on. And here's the I'm going to throw this one back up here. This was the Gem State potato processing. And this was Hayburn, which puts it between where I am and Twin Falls, closer to Twin Falls, probably about a half an hour outside of Twin Falls. And so the plane crashed on it. One person in the plane, he died, and I don't see any signs of fire. But the only reason why that made the news, because it was an airplane. This was not the only airplane crashing into a facility. There was another one where it crashed into a facility and set the facility on fire. So, how do I put this in a proper way? Guys, I'm not trying to be fearful here. I'm just trying to bring information to light so you can make a informed decision on what you're going to do. One of the things to consider on this is of course, the naysayers are going to say, oh, it's just conspiracy theory. It's just conspiracy theory. Well, recently, a lot of people are calling conspiracy theories. Spoiler alert, guess what's coming? And it just seems to be true too. But I'm just scrolling down to see what other ones, other little notes here. So there was one in Mountain View here through the Maricopa fire. Okay, so that's down in Arizona. Taylor Farms. Okay, I'm just going down. I think that's all on that one there. But yeah, there is a lot of things going on. Now, what does that mean for you and me?
You need to become a locavore.
What?
A locavore. Eat local.
Oh, eat local. Okay.
Control your own food supply by knowing your farmer. Know your farmer. Be your farmer. Eat local, not things that are shipped in.
Thank you, Kathy, for putting the link out there for people to go check on. So, folks, what you can do is you can right-click on that and click Open in New Tab, and just let it sit there, and you can look at it later. Yeah, what was going on? Some of the stuff I was seeing from back in 21. It was about things started picking up in September. And, September had 1, October had 2, November had 4, December had 5 or 6. So, yeah, it's, but, the only one that the one guy could find prior to September of 2021 was 2019. So, anyways, take that for what it's worth. But, like Tammy was saying, eat local, buy local, farmers markets and stuff. Eat even local, more local. Your backyard.
Yeah.
Plant a garden.
If there was ever a time to have a victory garden in your backyard, it's right now. Right now.
I mean, it's like when I started out, I was just going to do, I was doing my little indoor garden experiment, and I was just going to have 2 Roma tomatoes and maybe, a rainbow chard plant. Well, now I got those 2 going on. I got a couple of planters and indoor planters that I have carrots growing in. I got bunching onions. I got a couple of the trays going of sweet Spanish yellow onions. I got the burgundy reds going. And when those get big enough, then I'm going to go out to where, and I froze. I wasn't going to plant much outdoors in the containers because I was planning to make some more trips to California, move more stuff up here. Of course, then the gas prices went skyrocketing. And so it's like, ooh, instead of being able to do 4 trips, I can only afford to do 2 trips. And thank you, Uncle Al. Uncle Al's pointing out that I got 10 likes and 23 watching. And folks, please, share this out so we can get this information out, and your friends and stuff can watch this and they can get prepared and figure out what they're going to do. So, shoot, now I forgot. Uncle Al distracted me there. Squirrel. Okay. So with everything going on and with all this stuff going on for my garden, I started expanding it, and every time something else comes up, I'm going to plant a few more things. So now I got all these onions and stuff that I'm growing sets in the house. And in about a month or so, when they're big enough, I'm going to take them out to the raised planter beds that I wasn't going to plant anything in. I was just going to pile manure on it and cover it and just let it cook for this year and make nice loamy, yeah, and throw some worms in there and let them all have fun and make super soil for next year. So I'm going to go ahead and top them off from the big compost pile I made last summer and plant onions in some of them. I'm going to be planting some more rainbow chard out there in it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any more tomatoes because with the 2 plants I got going in here, they should provide me with all the tomatoes I want. And so I should be good on that. Hey, Smoke Maker, how's it going? Have I missed anybody that's come in? Hi, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to, get this stuff out. This is kind of important to me because I've seen all the crap going on from all my other connections and stuff.
Yeah.
So what?
Yesterday I was at our local big box store, and the little semi truck was there to deliver the plants from the grower, and I made friends with the grower. And I'm like, I kind of need more onions. He's like, I don't have any onion sets. What else do you need? I'm like, well, I want this kind of tomato. He goes, I'll bring it next week. So make sure even if it's a big box guy, you see him with his little name tag on, walk up, talk to him, make friends, get what you need.
Yeah, it's the jobbers in there that deliver a lot of the stuff don't work for the big box store. They're outsiders that are hired to bring stuff in. Okay, Kathy has a question. My Walla Wallas, of the 5 that sprouted and are actually growing, 2 got taken out by my sweet little adorable grandson, Danny. And one of the other ones just decided, okay, I grew a little bit, I'm enough. The other 2 are doing, but they're still not doing as well as the Spanish or the red burgundies. Hey, Joe, Garden State Gardener is in the house, folks. And Ryan the Gamer is here.
I'm having a terrible time with onions this year. I lost my little 2 Elsa Craigs that sprouted. I lost both of them, even though I was babying them. But I have my yellow onions and my leeks, so I'm still okay.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. One of the things that all right. So I got the I'm going to be planting some more chard outside. And of course, most of that is going to go across the street to my daughter and her family. I would say 3/4 of what goes across the street goes to the rabbits and the chickens, which, hey, saves on their, on their feed bill. And it's especially since my daughter got 12 more Rhode Island Reds and 12 more white Cornish cross meat birds. So, that's going to help.
I put a dozen chicken eggs and a dozen duck eggs in the incubator Sunday.
Cool. Who is it? Okay, Courtney just had a little clip of some of her chickens hatching. That's White Family Farm, for those that don't know. And Brett and Amy at Broussard.
Andy
Froze. Ran a little thing of candlelighting the eggs and stuff, and was found out some were non-viable and got rid of those, and noticed a bunch of them that were, and so they got them in their incubators. Then they got them doing one of the incubators that does the turning and everything else and moving around and all the joggling.
One of my really good friends just bought an incubator that holds 240 eggs.
Whoa!
So I got to slip my eggs in with her eggs, and she's going to be running it all summer. So again, you don't need a big hatchery. Find that local person and make friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
Make connections with your community.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, so with the problem in the food supply chain going on, that it's if you're smart and you plan now, you can avoid a lot of the problems with it. I mean, even Steve, the Marine down there in LA, he's planning it. He has a decent sized garden now going in his backyard. And he says he's having a tough time doing it. Hey, CR, we got someone from north of the border in the house. And
yes, Emma, the canning protein is important because that's the most expensive thing right now. So if you can get your pantry stocked with protein, whatever protein it is that you like best, that you can find at a reasonable price, that's like having a savings account because the prices are only going to go up.
Yeah, it's like I've been, my stock here in my office here is going down as I'm organizing the kitchen pantry and moving stuff out of here over there. But I still got 24, 35 jars and cans of pasta sauce in here. And I picked up another 16. Yeah, 16. No, 16. No, there's 20 jars of pasta sauce at Winco today. The same size as the big classical jars. $1.40.
Ooh, nice.
Store brand and no high fructose corn syrup in it.
Double bonus points.
Yes.
Double bonus points.
And,
much more healthy.
And it turns out that my picky autistic grandson over there loves the tomato, basil, and garlic one.
Ooh, perfect. So there you go. Stock up on that one.
And my daughter's been stocking up on that one over there. So I
Lewis wants you to know that there's people from north of the border too.
Oh, sorry, Lewis, forgot. Duh. Yeah. So Lewis there is from Canada. CR Creative Redundancy is from Canada. Has Lori showed up yet? Or Prairie Rider? Lori J and Prairie Rider, same person. They have two channels, like I got my two channels. She's up there, and she's cooking some great stuff up there now. She's getting back into the videos again. She's feeling better, and she made some pizza with some homemade mozzarella. Oh, yes.
I have got to get into cheese making. That is on my list. I bought a book.
Yeah.
And I've done some. Yeah. It's been so many years that I've got to go right back and start from scratch. I've done it. It's just not been for so long. So that would be a good video to watch.
Yeah, and so learning how to make some of these things yourself is great. I do have a dairy, um, 3/4 of a mile away, big dairy, and I happen to know the owners as well. We go to church together. So, but so Emma's asking, I've read that leaf mold stops soil nematoids. Is that true? Someone else was talking about nematoids. Oh, actually, it was my wife I was talking with about it. She saw a video where a guy took the neem oil and did a what you call it. Basically, it's like a blast hit on the soil to kill all the nematoids in it, and then turned it and stuff, and then was letting it sit for a while before he plants anything in it. But he was, he just did a blast on the soil, not spraying in the air, a soil injection to kill the nematoids.
You'd want to cover that to make sure that your beneficial pollinators don't get into it, though, because neem oil will kill your bees.
It'll kill your bees. It'll take out your ladybugs, your praying mantis and stuff too. Yeah.
Well, I keep bees, so I won't use that at all.
Al answered her, yes, but it takes 2 years.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So everyone out there, if you don't have a garden, don't tell me you can't plant a garden. I don't see Kaylin hasn't come in here yet either, has she? Kaylin Strength. All right. Kaylin has a small apartment, and she has a small balcony, and she was, she's doubling with the size of the amount of stuff she was growing on there from last year. And last year she grew a bunch of stuff out there on her balcony. And okay, I'm going to put this comment up here. I'm going to come back to it in a second. There is another channel that has been coming out over on Courtney's, and she's made comments on a couple of mine. The Hoodstead.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a 800 square foot or less apartment, and she's growing mushrooms in there and other things. She's doing it. And if you check on my channel, my playlist for the indoor garden experiment, I'm growing tomatoes, carrots, lettuce. My lettuce is about ready to start harvesting some of the lettuce off my Grand Rapids lettuce. I got rainbow chard growing in the house. I got a couple basil plants going. So yeah, this is just playing around here in front of the one window, getting stuff going, and it's growing great. So it can be done. Now, Homestead Where You Are has a 2/3 of an acre. Still managed to grow what I can. Buy in call when someone. Say I'll pick up the jars of cake. All right. My wife's my property in California is a 1/3 acre in town, and my wife grows several hundred pounds of food each year, and probably gives 2/3 of it away. Lots of apples, lots of lemons, oranges, other thing, gives it away all the time. Zucchini and other things like that. She grows it all of a sudden. Oh, I got 10 times what I need. Puts it in little bags, puts it down on the brick wall in the front, and people come by. They take what they want and go. And
I have never turned down a wayward zucchini left on my car, porch, anywhere.
Yeah. And so there's a lot. You can grow a lot if you put your mind to it. Okay, Pastor McWatty, 1-bedroom apartment, have a greenhouse in the living room, starting my plants, potatoes started in the window. See, hey, you can do it. Mama Bear Prepping, the one that has the big grizzly bear on her thing, just retired. Her and her husband just got out of the Navy, yeah, and now they're up in Oregon now at their property up there. When they were in California down there in that little apartment, she had all sorts of potted plants growing, all sorts of stuff there. So growing food is a big option for people to do. And it's
My
so much fun.
my 14-year-old wants a garden, so he just brought home a whole bunch of last year's hanging baskets from his grandparents and 3 pots that they were going to throw out. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge. You just have to have a desire to grow food.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Oh, my wife is trying something new this year. She has picked up for free around town and stuff. The several people had gotten rid of these composting bins, the stackable ones,
Mm-hmm.
and so she's taken one of them and she's using it to grow potatoes in.
Nice.
So yeah, she's going to be doing that. There's a comment here I'm going to highlight in a second. Hey, Jewish redneck prepper, haven't seen you for a while. Shalom.
Shalom.
And I wish Yosi would come in here.
And you froze.
And I froze. Yosi is in Israel, and he has Yosi in the Simple Kitchen is one channel, and Yosi the concrete Israeli gardener, and he's doing gardening in his little apartment there.
One window.
One window, yeah. All right, Rachel, cool. Potted garden's doing well. Can't dig in my yard soil. Cool. And like Uncle Al says, grow food, not pot. But all right.
Yeah,
So
and a lot of those plants like strawberries, raspberries, you can buy one plant and propagate hundreds.
oh
So
yeah.
don't think that you got to go out and buy dozens of them. Just start with one and you can propagate so many more from just one plant.
Yeah, it's let me pull something up here real quick here. Clear that back there and then bring up. I want to show you. My wife gets just a couple of strawberry plants for free every year and actually it was this weekend. It was this last weekend, I think, at the Northern California Gardener Symposium thing. And playlist. Go down here to my garden. View full playlist. Here it is. Okay, so over here, this is my channel, YouTube. This is my channel here. Here, you want me to put on my DHS hat? I'll put on my DHS hat, YouTube. All right, so Chris's Urban Garden Tour. And it's going to play an ad. Yeah, we got to listen to an ad here. Come on, get done with the ad. Well, at least they're starting to put ads back on my stuff again.
That's good. Did you hear what happened to my channel? So I have been monetized. Finally got my watch hours. Been monetized for not even 30 days, and I have doubled my watch hours in 30 days.
Yeah, that's because YouTube is pushing it because you're getting, you have ads on it now, and so they're pushing it.
My views per video are the same. I just suddenly got 4,000 watch hours added to my total.
Yeah, there's probably some, if you look back, you'll find some of your older videos are being pushed.
No, they're not. Because I watch every day. They just finally those hours that they weren't adding in suddenly all got added at once because I didn't get any ads on them.
Yeah,
I didn't get paid for any ads.
All right, so here's the staff sergeant here. For those who don't know, my wife was a staff sergeant when I married her. So let me go ahead and if I can bring it forward here a little bit. She's going through talking about the shiitake tree and then getting down. Here we go. This area back here, this green area, that's all strawberries. That is just, a big strawberry garden she has there. And that started from just a few plants over the years. And then we can take it farther forward here. I mean, this is so look at there's propagating strawberries like you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
She gets all these free little 4-inch pots, fills them full of soil, and just keeps on adding, and they just keep on growing and expanding. So she's got the flat bed here, and then behind it, she has a pallet up on its side with strawberries growing out of it. And let's see if it goes around the other way here or not. She's going over to the zucchini and the other things. But back, let's see if I can hear. Go under the tree here in the shade, you can't hardly see it, but these on the bottom left here, there are pots and pots and pots and trays of strawberries. And so, yeah. So, you just got to take a little care of them. And you're like, every time I go there, I'm bringing back bags of strawberries to Idaho, not counting the 20 or 30 she makes me eat a day of strawberries.
They're good for you. Just eat them up. They're good.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's growing stuff on a small, lot is not that hard. If you want to see what she's done, like I said, go over to the channel, to the playlist, My Garden, and then Garden Tour Part 1 and 2. And she goes through and talks about all the different things. We've got grape plants, Fuji apple, Granny Smith, several different types of lemons, several different types of oranges, peaches, apricots, cherry trees, and plus you can onions in the background there. Look at this, those onions and stuff. Some of those are the ones that I started a couple years ago here, and she I gave her some of the ones to take home, and she planted them there. So yeah. All right, Kathy, take care. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, all of my plants are back here behind me. I want to show you. You can even grow things from your own food. This is an apple tree from a seed. Mm-hmm. You would throw that away when you cored the apple. You'd throw it away. You can grow. You don't have to go out and buy anything. It'll be 3 years before this one produces anything, but it's still an apple tree. You don't have to buy. You can buy. Don't throw out your green pepper seeds. Don't throw out, your food seeds. You can grow from anything.
Yeah. And see, we got Julie Bennett Snyder in here, and see, did I catch anybody else that is sliding? Oh, Mary Beth Smith is here. And who else came sliding in here? A couple others, and of course, the latest to come in here, Lori J, from the Queen of the North. So, yeah, folks, with all the problems with the food supply chain, and of course our great leader, Captain Crazy, saying we're going to have food shortages this year. And then almost immediately the next day, starting the next day, they really started piling up the stuff burning and stuff. And let's see here, close that. Actually, let me try putting this over here. And if I can go back to there. I'm trying to find it, the post here. Oh, hey, everybody, if you want to know about canning and everything else and all the good stuff here, over on Facebook, Rebel Canners. That's Tammy's thing, and hundreds of people posting that are members of it. But everyone talking food, a lot of good stuff. Mimsy's Garden, good channels. There's mine going. In the side chat here, Garden State Gardener. That's Joe, Garden State Gardener. See if I can find the other one. Another homestead one. Another homestead. Hey, everyone's talking about gardening stuff, preparing it. That's like someone I grew up with, and more videos. All right, someone talking about how to canning sprouts and stuff here.
That's hostas.
Huh?
Those are hostas.
Okay.
So
So,
they have foraged some hosta sprouts. Hostas you can pickle. They
all
taste
right.
like they're supposed to taste like asparagus.
Okay, where is it? Oh, it's not showing up here. Okay. Oh, he sent information on essential oils and stuff. But I can't find the one. There was one someone posted. It usually comes up every time here, but it's not showing right now. She had a list of the first 10 days after our great Captain Crazy said we're going to have a food shortage of, I think she had like 15 things in 10 days that went poof in flames. Coincidence? I think not. I think it's a spoiler alert. Hey, Tennessee Tactical One is here. Gunslinger Outdoors. Woohoo! All right, now we're rolling, folks.
Be sure to hit the thumbs up.
Yeah. So we got 21 thumbs up, and some people have slipped out. We were higher on the watches, but all right. There is a lot of stuff that we can do. Now, here's what I did this morning. I went into Idaho Falls. 20.
Any froze.
Hit went to Idaho Falls, about 20-minute drive. I hit Sam's Club, and I was thinking, all right, are they opening up early or not? I checked the website, said 10 o'clock. Got there, they opened at 8.
Ooh.
And so it was 9 o'clock, and I was just going to bypass them and head some other places that are open 24/7. But I went in there, and I made a score on the discount beef.
Ooh, good.
25% off on the packages. I got 2 packages of stew meat, which I got separated out on parchment paper on cookie sheets, and I put in the freezer before I started the live. I got what's it called? Something I roast. It's round and stuff.
I have round.
I have round roast. That's it.
You know what I do with that?
What?
I slice it into steaks.
Yeah.
I make round steaks out of them. Small, little.
A week and a week ago, I had a tray of. I picked up one on this with the 25% discount on it, where they had done that, and it had 12 on there, and so I did each of them separately. No, I didn't. I pulled one out. I put the other ones in packages of 3 and 4, and froze them. Seal a meal packages, or food saver, whatever you want to call it. And because they come out really, really close to a fifth of a pound, so under like 3 1/4 ounces, which is perfect, especially when I'm trying to lose weight. And but there were some other ones that were sliced and everything. So I had 1, 2, 3. The video will come out tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping. So I videoed it for Gray Man Prepping for the Prepper's Pantry series, and it was just like made a cleanup on it. And I was talking to somebody, and one of the butchers said, "Over 9 o'clock, there's usually a bunch of it out here every day." So guess where I'm going tomorrow?
Yes.
Guess where I'm going tomorrow? And so if you have one of the business cards that allow you to get in early, or one of the executive special cards for Sam's Club that allow you in early, hit Sam's early. Now, so I got that. Oh, and my Sam's finally got the box of hash browns back.
Oh, yes.
So I got 2 of those. Got 2 of the instant mashed potatoes, because hey, I think it's something like 24 potato processing plants in the United States this year alone have had fires or explosions at.
See, I am really lucky. I will probably never have to can potatoes again. I have 300 pounds of potatoes canned. Just potatoes, nothing else in the can.
Cool.
I live very close to the heart of potato country in Michigan, and I'm allowed to go in because I know the farmer I get to go in and glean the fields after the farmers leave. So I
Oh,
can pick up for free as many potatoes as I want. My kids will never look at potatoes again. They barely will eat them because I have gotten so many potatoes in the last three or
my
four
my
days.
youngest may want to come stay with you. He'll be cooking you hash browns every night.
Ooh, I
Hand
love.
done hash browns.
Ooh, ooh,
Yes.
I love that.
Matthew loves to do hash browns.
I love potatoes. I'm Scottish, so it's in my blood. I think I could eat them 3-4 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, Jeremy, so if you notice though, the places since 2019, there was the list I saw only had one in 2019, and then it started picking up. When you got into 2021, it just started picking up in intensity. Oh, and so like I said, so I got 6.5 pounds of stew meat at 25% off at Sam's today. But then I went over to a place here that we have out here in the West Coast called Winco, and it stands for Winning Company. That's what the guy wanted to call it. And so I picked up a 10-pound box of extra wide egg noodles for less than $1 a pound.
Ooh.
And so I now have 3 of those boxes. I froze, and I picked up the 20 bottles of pasta sauce without high fructose corn syrup, and got some my bread and hot dog buns. 98 cents for a loaf of bread and 89 cents for packages of hot dog buns. Boom. Hey, zombie prepper, how's it going?
Lori J, I realize milk is very, very expensive right now where you're
Yeah.
at, but I can milk so that I can, when I buy it on sale, I can make it last for a long time. I use the canned milk for cooking mostly, but if you can learn to can milk, you can kind of help with that price problem.
Yeah, there was on Facebook on your Rebel Canners. Somebody was picked it up for 99 cents. Was that a
Oh
half
yeah,
gallon?
no, a
Was that
gallon. I've
was a
seen it
gallon?
here. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't very long ago. It was that way because they were dumping it
Hmm.
onto the market. Milk is one of the commodities that is price controlled by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
You have milk, bacon, or they call them pork bellies on the commodity.
Yeah.
But milk, bacon, and butter are 3 things that the prices are very price controlled by the U.S. government.
Yeah. Staples.
They're commodities.
Yeah.
If you look at the commodities,
Yeah.
those items are the 3 that are produced. Then the U.S. government buys them from the farmers to keep the price, and then they then distribute them to our elderly. It used to be called the commodities program. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what they call it now, but you'll see that they get cheese, they get eggs, they get milk, and they get canned meats now.
Yeah. And for those of you that missed it, Tammy, was it 2 weeks ago you did the cheese?
Yes.
Canned cheese.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, so you can can cheese, and you take your hard cheeses and you turn it into a cheese spread in the small jars and stuff. So yeah,
Right in the jar itself.
yeah. And we have Corsair trainers in the house. Hey, Steve. He's at baseball practice. So, and yeah, so there's a lot of things that you can that, most people don't think about because, hey, before refrigeration, how did people keep the food year round?
Canning milk is actually older than the USDA. The USDA was actually invented after Mr. Borden taught us how to can milk. And actually, people were doing it before Mr. Borden. He just taught us how to evaporate it and then can it, not just can milk. So,
yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do to avoid the problem with the everything that's catching on fire around here.
Again.
The probably, like I say, the best thing you can do is plant a garden. Now, co-oping. If you are trying to plant a garden and your neighbor's trying to plant a garden and you get several neighbors trying to plant gardens, sometimes it's kind of hard to divide it up and plant a whole bunch of different things, whereas you might be able to grow one or two crops really well, and a neighbor grows a different set of crops really well, and you guys get together and
barter,
barter,
exchange.
trade, yes, specialize in certain crops and stuff, and trade with each other.
Yeah.
And of course, Uncle Al fired in a thing about one way for preserving meats is salting, and that works especially good for beef, venison, pig. I'm not sure about this one. I haven't seen anybody talk about salting chicken.
No,
I didn't think so.
It's because
Poultry's a little bit different.
Well, it's the salmonella factor.
Yeah.
You know, salt is much better on red meat than it is on other meats.
And so, I mean, what's the one? What's the one here that corned beef is the really salty meat?
Because it's pickled. It's actually pickled in a salt brine.
Yeah. And Lori's chiming in. I'm gonna throw this one up here. And I froze. Pemmican, dried meats and stuff. You can rehydrate them. Jerky.
Yeah. Pemmican is basically jerky. It's been dehydrated and then ground into a powder, and the fat added back into it.
Yeah.
Technically, that's not what most people think of pemmican now, but the Native Americans would take buffalo skin pouches, dehydrate the meat, and then put the fat back in it, pour it all into the pouch, and let the fat seal the meat inside that pouch. The French have a word for it. I can't think of what it is, where they actually take the meat and then seal it inside of fat to preserve it.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, some of the tribes would add ground up berries and stuff into it, to give it, other nutritional value as well.
Yep. And then they would just dump it in a pot of water, boiling water, and make stew out of it.
Yeah. Now, my mom told me stories when she was in her teens, going hunting with her uncles, which would be some of my grandmother's 13 brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, there were 15 in the family, 2 girls and 13 boys. And my grandmother was born in 1899, and she was near the younger side of that slide. But they would go out, hunt venison, and make the jerky out there in the field while they were hunting and stuff. And when they made jerky, it's not like the stuff you buy in the store, which is semi-soft and still a little juicy. No, this was hard done.
You knock it on the table and it better shatter.
Yeah, hard jerky. And the hard jerky will last a lot longer than this stuff you get from the store now.
I'm on at 135. Yes, comfy. Comfy is the word I was looking for. CONFIT. Comfy. That is the word.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah. The T is silent.
I'm on it. Good to have you in here.
No vowel after it.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things you can do. And there's one thing you can do. I don't recommend it, though, unless you have a good friend for a dentist. Hardtack.
Yeah.
I've made hardtack. The only way hardtack will keep forever.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is when you're ready to use it, basically it's like a super hard bread cracker. You start to cook your stew, you dump it in there, and it might be soft enough by the time the stew is done. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, that will keep almost forever, but
Yeah.
you got to keep the critters out of it.
Yeah. So there are a lot of good ways to do it. You want information? I'm going to throw another shout out over here on. See if I can find it here. There we go. Boom. And boom.
Yes,
So
yeah.
there it is. There's the Rebel Canners homepage. It's a private group. Has 108,000 members, and that's Tammy's group. It exploded on her.
I wanted to cap it off at 300, and they told me no, and I never dreamed it would go this high.
Yeah, and Darren is from down under. Shoot, what's his channel called? Down Under Forge.
Down Under Farm and Forge and Farm.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's in here, and so there's yeah, I say you want to find out about canning, what you can and can't can. A lot of anyone can for baby food. Hey, baby food, folks, you can baby food.
You just can what you're canning for yourself and take out a small portion for them, and you puree it.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't put any spices in it until you're ready to cook it.
Yeah.
Take their portion out first, puree it.
Yeah.
Or make it. I always did a lot of those little tiny jelly jars of baby food for my grandsons and my kids.
Yeah, and there's people like starting. I just started my canning adventure last month. Boom. So you're not if you're starting, you're not the only one out there. So there's like I say, there's a lot of information here on canning. Here's someone using an electric canner. So there's a information over there. So there's a lot of good gardening channels. For those that don't know it, Broussard Homestead, Wide Family Farm, North Star Prepsteader, Mimsey's Garden, on and on and on. Just about everybody in here, looking back here, does something along the way, either prepper or gardening in here. So it's a community here. So there's a lot of things to check on. So we're hitting the top of the hour here. So I'm going to go over here, pull up the my spreadsheet here. So tomorrow night, being Tactical Tuesday, is over on Gray Man Prepping at 10 o'clock Eastern. And the topic tomorrow night is, since it's the last Tuesday of the month, we're going to go with one of the Fear Porn Channel dream things. And this topic is one where these channels are talking about what to do when the banks are taken over. So we're going to look at it logically, and hopefully I can get Anthony from Palmetto prepared to come in here, because he's done a lot of finance stuff and everything else. So hopefully I can get him in there to show the fallacy in a lot of this stuff.
Lori J., my canning page is not just USDA. It allows people to discuss every method, even those that are no longer supported, and so that you know why, and you can make your own choices as an informed choice. And I think people learn I'm a why learner. So if you shut me down and don't let me ask questions, I'm gone. So I allow people to ask questions in my page. You can ask any question on canning, and if anybody tries to shut you down, they're out of there, because I don't allow that. So it could be all kinds of canning, and they clearly state recipes are not USDA approved. They clearly state that, so you don't have to worry. You can pick and choose which ones you want to use.
Now, on that, there are some recipes that used to be in the USDA approved book. They just kind of left them out after time because people weren't interested in it. They're not that they're no longer approved. It's just that they're not in there. Cabbage
fell out of popularity. Cabbage used to be eaten so much more than it is right now. Cabbage used to be on everybody's dinner table every night in some form. People got sick of it. They stopped eating it as much. Smaller families. It's a big head of, you get a cabbage this big around, bigger than your head. What do you do with all of it if you don't have, 15 kids,
Yeah.
So they started to take them out of the book because they weren't as popular. now people are like, oh, you can't can cabbage. Yes, you can cabbage. It is safe. It's just not in there because they had to make room for the fancy foo-foo stuff. It's okay. It'll
If
be
you
all
even
right.
find some of the older canning books and stuff where they have how to do it, it's still good. It's just that it's not in the modern ones because they can only put so much in it and
Right.
keep the costs down. Okay, so Passamaquoddy has the question: does anybody do videos on how to can and dehydrate without electricity if they don't have a solar generator system? Yes. Tammy. In fact, hey, there's another one. He was in here earlier. Maccabeus Everyday Survival did 2 videos this in the last 5 days on canning outdoors on a wood fire.
You just have to know how to work your
Regulate it.
fire. If
Yeah.
you can work your fire to cook a barbecue, you know how to work your coals to bake some potatoes, then you can use your canner outdoors. The Amish only use their boiling water bath outdoors over open fires in the summer because they don't want to heat up their house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not that hard. It's being done every day in America in the summer.
And in Europe, they don't do pressure canning. They water bath for 4 hours.
Yeah, they just don't sell them there. And the same with Australia. They're very hard to find in Canada. Believe it or not, most countries do not pressure can. And a lot of the Amish do not pressure can. Mennonites are hit and miss, depending on, you know, the older recipes are not for pressure canning. You know, people did this for not thousands of years, but, you know, we were preserving food for more than 2,000 years. We're all here because somebody was able to preserve food and make their crops last long enough to get to the next harvest.
Yeah. Anthony at Palmetto Prepared built a solar dehydrator. You know, he has out there and put wheels on it so he can make it track the sun. Several other people have built solar dehydrators to work on it, and I'm not sure if Anthony put a fan in his or not, but someone else got one of those little itty bitty solar powered, power things.
Computer fan.
And a computer fan, and blew the air through it to do it. In fact, actually, yes, hang on a second here. I got to get this back up here. I forgot all about that. I'm an idiot.
Not really, you just remembered.
Yeah, but I should have remembered it sooner. And so I got to go back to my playlists and my garden. I think it's in my garden. Okay, video number 12 on my channel. Dehydrating apricots for the first time. And it's got an ad popping up on it. Okay, so our first doing dehydrating was a just basically there was no fan or anything for the dehydrator. And so we took it outside and set it out. Oh man, that's a that's a long video. Okay, so here we go. Let me bring it up here. So this dehydrator does not have a fan in it. It does have a heater in it, but no fan. Underneath of it is a laptop fan unit to blow air up into it. And so, it's that's what's plugged into the one plug here, and the other one is just it has a heater in it. But then my wife had another one that had no heater in it at all, because the heater burned out in it, so it had no fan, no heater. So what does she do? She puts it out in the sun on top of the laptop blower here, and dehydrated apricots.
Like Mary Beth said, Grandma had 2 screen doors in the sun, one underneath, one on top, to keep the flies off of it.
Yeah.
I can't really do that here in Michigan because our weather is too humid.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's certain places in the country that are better at that. But you can, crank up a wood stove outside and heat stuff up and dehydrate over top of that.
Camping gear. In fact, that's what I'm going to be doing here later this week. If I ever get the time, get all these other videos loaded up that I've gotten sitting here ready to be edited. I'm going to take the pressure cooker. I'm going to try pressure cooking for the first time. Now, I have an electric stove that I cannot pressure cook on because and it won't work. So I'm going to bring in one of my propane Coleman camp stoves in and pressure can on that.
Yep.
Cross your fingers for me, folks. Hey, man, get this one. There we go. All my fingers are crossed.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
My mom camped on one of those propane stoves that are for RVs in our pickup cop. We had a pickup camper that had the came out over top and it was an old Wolverine out of Minnesota or Wisconsin, and we camped on that stove. We cooked a lot, and the big canner was on that thing all summer long.
Yeah, my next experiment is to take one of the old 3-burner. Actually, I got a 1-burner out there. I still have 1-burner. I gave the 2-burner to my nephew. I have a 1-burner white gas Coleman stove from back in the 50s.
I have one of those. It's a 2-burner.
Yeah, and I
got white gas here though.
Yeah, actually, the Walmart here has both the white gas and the newer version of white gas as well. So, that's one of my experiments is to see if I can get that, how long that will burn. Fill it up and see how, and just put up the water bath thing on full of water and just see how long it'll go. If it goes long enough to be able to run the pressure canner on it.
Lori, I cook for 40 people, 3 meals a day for a week. Last year was 8 weeks in the summer. I was camp cook at a children's camp, and I cooked for several people. I'm not going to be doing that this summer, but it was a lot of fun. I've done that for several years. That was a lot of fun.
I'm on it. Did it? There was one of the ones where it would come on and then turn off, and then turn on and turn off.
It's the new ones that cycle, and those are not good for canning.
Yeah, that's what I got. Mine cycles like that, and it's like it's a pain in the butt just to cook a steak on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Alicia. So when it comes to canning, gardening, and everything else, don't be afraid of it. I'm overcoming my fear of pressure canning. Water bath I grew up water bath canning, but I was never around when my mom or my grandmother or my aunt pressure canned. They always chased all the kids out.
I do too. It's better if they're just out from underfoot. I can concentrate, and nobody's knocking, banging, touching, getting burned because they messed with something.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, how's it going? So as far as the problems with the supply chain, with all the food processing plants that are catching fire, having explosions, having airplanes crash into them, I'm waiting to have a semi run through one. Surprised that hasn't happened yet. We can. We can survive this, and actually survive it comfortably.
And I think by building our own supply chain, we're going to come out better on the other end. So this is a chance to really look at what we can do locally, what we can do ourselves, and to really store just those things that we eat.
Yeah. Now I've thought about, I have an old electric hot plate with the spiral ones. I thought about pulling one of those out, but I figured, before I do that, I'm going to want to use the propane and the other ones first. Hey, LA Prepper. Hey, we have a virgin here. Never canned.
Well, you need to start. I suggest that you get out your biggest spaghetti pot and you learn by making some strawberry jelly this week.
Yeah, or grape jelly, and
Grape jelly is hard to set up,
hard
and
to.
strawberry it's harder to get it to set up. So if you can, I tell people to always start with strawberry jelly. It's bright, it's colorful, it's pretty, and it tastes wonderful. And it's one of the easiest things to water bath can. Once you've mastered that, you can water bath can anything. Yeah. It gives you the confidence to go on and do other stuff. Yeah, I love homemade ice cream.
Yeah. That would be the only reason I would get a milk cow again. Mm-hmm. Was for the thick cream off the milk, the raw milk to make ice cream.
You're making me hungry. And I just got the stuff I can't think of what it's called. I just got a couple boxes of the mix to help it thicken if you don't have the cream.
Yeah.
From the Amish grocery.
Yeah. When I grew up, what we had at my parents' place back in the 60s was hundreds of blackberry plants. Mm. And we had olali, thumbberries, thornless, and something else. We had 4 or 5 different types. I noticed the one area on the front row down by the pump house was the thornless berries. And if they tried to make me pick berries from any other place, I said, screw it, I'm going in the house.
I bought a piece of property a few years ago, and I really bought it for somebody else, but I couldn't get a hold of them the day, and I had to really buy it right then, or it was a really, really good deal. And it was right across the street from my cousin who wanted to expand his property, and right zigzag from his sister who's always complaining she doesn't have enough property. So I picked it up for just the back taxes. Ooh. It was, really quick. Like I had to do it right then. It had to be done that day, had to be paid. I had the cash in my pocket, and it was covered in blackberries. So I took and transplanted all the blackberries I could out to my property. 14 plants survived. This year I'm going to get blackberries from them, I think. This will be the first year since it's been 2 years since I transplanted them. And then I sold the property to my cousin, so I came out ahead because I got my money back out of it and blackberries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, blackberries is another one that's, easy to propagate. You get it growing up, and you just bend one over, bend it in the ground, and just start bringing it back up again, and it'll root. You can cut it, in a couple weeks, and it goes. Oh,
yeah, I've got 2 rows of blackberries out there just from those plants, and then I have 3 other plant types out there.
Question. All right, here's the canning question, folks. I know Sam's Club and Costco has the big bag of frozen strawberries. Mm-hmm. Those are perfect for making jam, right?
Oh, yeah. You just measure them out, and, they're already cleaned. You don't even have to clean them, stem them, cut the greens off of them.
Yeah.
Just measure them with the liquid and all.
Yeah, so once the frozen strawberries defrost, you're ready to get, yeah. Oh yeah. So Lori's talking about her homemade pizza of homemade mozzarella.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's not really legal to sell raw milk here in Michigan, so I'm really trying to find a source of raw milk to make cheese.
Can they give it away?
They may be able to give it away, but they can certainly sell me a container, and then whatever's in it doesn't matter, does it?
No, yeah, that's just it. They sell
I'll take care. I'll take care of that white stuff that you got left in the. I just want to buy the gallon jug that it's in.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy the white stuff, just the gallon jug it's in. So I've supposedly got some coming, which would mean I could make some cheese.
Yeah, and actually, I noticed that today also when I was at Sam's Club, they had some of the big aluminum pots back in stock.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
So,
you know, to water bath can, all you need is a pot that's 1 inch taller than whatever size jar you want to do. So if you're a small home with very few people, like one or two, you might want to just do all pints anyway. You don't need a tall pot, just taller than that pint jar. If you're doing quarts for a big family, again, just 1 inch taller than that jar. You can cook in your water bath can in a spaghetti pot. You don't have to have fancy equipment to
yeah.
start it.
One of the other things that one of the ladies that used to cook at scout camp with us, um, she would get the pints and the half pints, and she just used a regular uh, trying to remember what the specific type of pot's called. It's about like yay tall and about yay big around, and has just a big same size lid that goes on top. It has a vent on it.
Yep.
And she would put a round cake rack, in the bottom of it, so the jars were off the bottom, and she would do her canning in that. And then she, of course, but she did have the special tongs for lifting the jars out and everything.
Yep. I take my canning stuff with me when I go camping because a lot of times I'll forage. So I've made crabapple jelly when I've been camping. I've made choke cherry jelly when I've been camping because where I was able to forage those items. I've pickled mushrooms. I've pickled leeks. You just never know when you might need a few jars and a big stock pot.
Yeah. When I was quartermaster for the Boy Scouts NYLT, which is the National Youth Leadership Training course, I got introduced to a store that I hadn't heard about called Cash for Carry in California. I walked in there and it was like, my wife is going to kill me. I turned around and walked out, and I didn't go back in there until I took her in there with me, because they had there's an assortment of heavy duty aluminum pots. I mean, we're talking, up to 5 gallon pots, and even antifroze. And so I wound up picking up 3 different ones over the year and a half that I was doing the course. And she didn't get mad at me. She goes, "Yeah, we can use that one." Yeah, we can use that one too. So,
Lori J, I have oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, and wine capper. They're called King Strabismus mushrooms growing right now on my property. And I have also seeded my property with morels. I actually transplanted one and got it to stay last year. I don't know if it'll come back this year or not, but I've actually been doing a lot with the mushrooms. But that's amazing to get the button mushrooms because those are hard to grow.
Okay. There is all right. I know it's going across the nation. A place that was called Smart and Final. All right, Smart and Final. At least it's big for down south and out west and everything. Smart and Final started out as what you had to have a card, but it was to get the card, all you got to do is sign up for it. And they bought out one of the cash and carries, and then their parent company, Smart Food Service, was renaming everything to Smart Food Service when U.S. Foods bought the whole thing.
Oh.
I love U.S. Foods. Yeah. U.S. Foods carries a brand called Monarch.
Okay.
Good stuff.
And it comes in number 10 cans, which is also handy.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they carry a lot of stuff in number 10 cans because U.S. Foods provides foods to restaurants.
Yes.
And other stuff. And so the store is now called Chef's Store, or U.S. Foods Chef's Store. and you can look it up online, see what it looks like. So I'm looking at U.S. Foods, chef store, restaurant supplied U.S. Foods, out of Phoenix, but well, here's the one in Idaho Falls here. Yeah, they just opened up Smart and Final. Oh, it was open for about a month, and they changed it to Smart Food Service. And the next time I went back, it was changed to the U.S. Chef store. And it's you can get. Do they have any indoor pictures of it? It's got big bulk stuff. You want your jalapeno cheese sauce, number 10 cans. And so,
I love it in number 10 cans because it makes it easier to recan it in pints that way.
Yeah. And so they've got just about anything you think of in there. They got a huge walk-in meat section. Huge. One of the things I want to get there when I have the room for it is they have a 40 pound box of 4-ounce chicken breasts.
Ooh.
Frozen. That's what we ordered for Scout Camp. I mean, for NYLT at the camp thing there, and we had big convection ovens, and we would just barbecue sauce in the big trays, slide it in the convection oven, and that's what the graduation dinner was: barbecue chicken that way.
Now that you're going to be canning, you're going to start having room for it because you're going to get some of that stuff out of your freezer and get it in the canner.
Yeah.
All that stew meat could go right in broth and be canned. 75 minutes in pints, 90 minutes in quarts, and
so that's as soon as I can get the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring get it to the canner to work in here, and pressure can water.
Yes.
Hey, sterile water is a good thing to have.
It is, and it makes a good test. That's a great way to test your pressure canner and make sure that everything's working.
And then once I get the first test, then I'll probably go grab some more stew meat and do up the stew meat and stuff. Now some of the chunks were rather big chunks of stew meat, more easy to handle type stuff. So I'll be cutting them up, making them all about approximate size, and then boom. Yes. Lori says water bath meat 4 hours.
Yes. Yep. And it means covered by 1 inch of water for that whole 4 hours. So that means that you have to make sure you have a teapot going with extra water. You don't boil off your water.
Yeah. Hey,
Howie!
Howie's here. Food Forest Permaculture, folks. Woohoo!
I hope you're feeling better. I've missed you.
Yeah.
Howie, I went by my tree today, and it is absolutely huge. I planted a tree on the very blue spruce on the very first Arbor Day they ever had. McDonald's gave it away. That thing is now 2 stories tall. It has grown so much in the last year, I couldn't believe it. I had an opportunity to drive by it today, and I'm just very proud of that tree, just so you know.
Cool. Just catching here. I've got. Is there a water bath canning European style for meats and everything, a cookbook out there?
Nope.
Yeah, of course the FDA doesn't approve of water bathing meats and stuff because people take the shortcut and don't do it for the full amount of time.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And then the other thing, Lori, I just want to mention, the other thing is, like everything, but I want to specifically emphasize this, you should bring anything that you cook that is low acid, water bath, low acid, you should cook it for 10 minutes. If you have a higher altitude like Colorado or someplace like that, you want to increase the time, but you do want to cook it before you taste it or eat it.
Yeah. Lori, seriously, watching wilderness cooking.
I have pictures of me doing it. I have stuff on my Facebook. I haven't put out videos on YouTube yet. That's on my list to do this summer. I will be off grid, so I'll have nothing better to do because I won't be hanging out with everybody so much.
Let's see. Let me check one thing here real quick before we wrap it up here. When I put pots in, came up with potatoes. Let me go back here. 5.
Oh, Nate, get that pressure canner out of the box. You're going to love it just because of the time it saves you. And water. Saves you a lot of water, too.
Okay. Yeah, they're still working on their website here. But I can look up, like if I look up the Monarch cans, it gives you the price of the Monarch cans at that food, at the U.S. Food Chef store. Yeah. That's, I have to stay away from there because I go in there and there goes my allotment for my budget for the next 3 months.
I kind of feel the same way about a couple places around here. Every time I go to the Amish hardware, which is way more than just hardware, by the way, there goes my budget for the month.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder. I guess I'd have to check with some of the people that are over in Europe, maybe Aiden Air. Maybe they have water bath canning cookbooks for meat and stuff over there.
I don't know. A lot of them
Just
come into Rebel Canners looking for recipes. So
yeah, because I know some of the countries. I mean, that's what they do. That's how they do their canning over there. Is all water bath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, folks, I think we gave you plenty of options for surviving the impending food shortage that our Captain Crazy has been telling us about. So, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. I'd like to thank Tammy for coming up here, and everybody in the side chat for all your input and information and comments. East European on fire water canning. Check that out. So I want to thank everyone for coming in here and remind everybody, hey, plant a garden, grow something, and can it. All right. See you guys around.
Bye-bye.